Yes, the live has started. Okay. Hello, friends. Good afternoon, good evening, good night, whatever be the time that you're watching later. So, good evening as of now, 4 o'clock on 6th of July 2020, and I am Vyas discussing all about journal entries from very basic discussion in modern approach to a bit advanced journal entries also. So, today we are going to cover all about journal entries which will be helpful for your CA foundation. Understand, friends? So you please ensure that you are watching this video throughout, okay, so that you will not miss any point and you will be able to gain some confidence while writing the journal entries. Ensure that you are revising this video once again and again till you get all the concepts cleared. Okay, so and we all have you can actually ask questions at any point of time. Once the video getting over, we will collect all the doubts and will clarify your doubts as well. Right, friends? Please subscribe to our channel and click the bell icon so that you get a notification whenever we are coming live or whenever we upload any video. Right, on this channel you will get all CA related stuff, all CA subject discussion of all the subjects of CA foundation, inter, final for free of cost, and you will be getting updates, you will be getting tips, tricks, study tricks, and all these stuff you will be getting for free of cost. Right, friends? Please subscribe and ensure that you are in touch with us at every point of time. Right, friends? So let us get into our subject today, journal entries. Friends, when we are talking about journal entries, okay, so when we are talking about journal entries, why should we learn journal entries so important, sir? Why are we learning at this stage? Is yesterday we have discussed something called accounting process. All of you remember, right? So if it is not discussed, if at all you have not gone through accounting process basics, the first class of ours, if you have not gone through that, I will leave the description of that particular class in the description of this video, friends. Please ensure that you go to that video. Please view that video as well. You have got a lot of basic concepts covered in that particular class, right? So in accounting process, we have discussed 7 steps, right? 7 steps of IRC-Psych. We have discussed, right? The process of identifying, recording, classifying, summarizing, analyzing, interpreting, and communicating. We have already discussed that. Now, if at all you try to make a short form of this complete process, friends, the process goes this way. In action, if at all you bring in, the actual procedure goes this way. First, we will start with our journal entries. The first step, as soon as any transaction happens, every businessman, every accountant, you will be actually doing the first step of writing the journal entry. It is the first step that where we record the transaction or books of accounts, and of course from journal entries we will post them into ledgers. From journal entries we will post them into ledgers, and from ledgers what do? We take it through trial balance, and once trial balance is made, from that we will prepare our final accounts. Correct, ma? We will prepare our final accounts. This is the entire procedure that we have, starting from journal entries till final accounts. Correct? This is what we already learned what it is. Now, friends, so journal entries is the base for everything. If at all you go wrong in journal entries, all other steps will also go wrong. It is something like our train engine. If engine goes wrong, right, all other next following bogies also will go off. Correct, friends? All compartments also will go off. So in this case, friends, so you have to pay extra attention for journal entries. Ensure that you are gaining perfection in journal entries, my dear friends. Okay, these journal entries not only as a topic as for few marks in foundation, friends, this is a base for you for your entire accounting career, let it be as a student or as a professional when you are working also, right? So please pay 100% attention and please go through the video throughout, friends. Don't miss this video in between at any cost, right? And this journal entries, yesterday as I discussed, we have 2 approaches for it. One is traditional approach we have for understanding about journal entries, and second approach we have is modern approach also we have. Okay, but the problem here is traditional approach. Yesterday also we discussed in our previous class. Okay, so in that we have discussed that traditional approach is actually made by our grandparents, very olden days, very old techniques, when the business were not so dynamic, when the requirements of the business were not so dynamic. Our people have actually made all those techniques where we divided all our accounts into personal, real, nominal accounts. We have divided and we have actually learnt it. But friends, this approach we are not going to follow now. We are not going to follow that particular model now, friends. We are not going to follow. The reason behind, already told you, my dear friends. The reason behind that is very simple. We want the accounting to be done in a much more effective manner. Much more effective manner, friends. In such a way that you will be able to do accounting in any possible challenge given to you. So for that purpose, we follow which method, my dear friends? Modern approach we will follow. Which method, ma? Modern approach we will follow. As per modern approach, we have divided our accounts into how many categories, ma? 4 categories. Yesterday also we discussed. Again, assets, liabilities, expenses, and then we divide that into incomes. Correct, ma? Now we subdivided them into 2 more categories. In what way? Assets and expense into first category, liabilities and incomes into second category, and we called these things as debit category, and they call them as credit category. Even we have discussed the meaning of debit, meaning of credit, and why assets and expense are categorized into one category and liabilities and incomes are categorized into second category. Why did we make like that? All these things were there in yesterday's video. Link is in the description. Don't wait and please watch the video again. Now friends, whenever we discuss, whenever assets and expenses increase, I will debit it, and whenever they decrease, I will credit it. Similarly, liabilities and incomes, whenever they increase, I will credit it, and whenever they decrease, I will debit it. This is what we have discussed in our yesterday's class. Correct, ma? Today we are going much more in depth of it, and we'll take some transactions. We'll apply this particular chart. Friends, this chart is so important that you please write it on a paper, stick it to the wall. Please ensure that you're watching that particular chart at least for 3-4 times a day, so that your mind will be fixed with all these aspects, where assets and expense comes under debit category, liabilities and incomes comes under credit category. It means if assets and expense increase debit, decrease credit. If liabilities and incomes coming under credit category, it means incomes and liabilities increase credit, decrease debit. Correct? So this should be fixed in your mind in such a way that you should be able to answer even in the midnight also. Okay, so in the middle of your sleep also you should be able to answer that. Okay, so please ensure that you are practicing it so well. Alright, friends, now let us go through in detail. Let us take some few examples, and I want to discuss with you. First step we will discuss is what is to be debited, what is to be credited, and then we will discuss the format of journal entries. Okay, the way we have to write the journal entry. First, recognition of debits and credits. Let us see. Okay, Nama, let us start. So first transaction I will take now is, first transaction that I want to take is purchased buildings worth rupees 5 lakhs. So what have I done, my dear friends? I have actually purchased buildings worth of how much, ma? 5 lakh rupees worth of buildings I have purchased. Chalo. Okay, good. Actually, it's very good weather in Bangalore today. Okay, very raining. Okay, hope class will go well without power loss. Chalo. Purchase buildings worth of 5 lakhs. Friends, please try to understand this. Which 2 accounts will be affected because of this transaction, my dear friends? First of all, buildings account will be affected. Why? When you purchase a building, your buildings with you will increase. Obviously, buildings will be affected. So I will take that to buildings account. Similarly, you would have paid, right, for purchasing the building. So I will assume that you have paid in cash. For simplicity in basic classes, I'll assume that you have paid in cash. So once you pay cash, what will happen? Your cash balance will decrease. Now, friends, a building and cash. Now, buildings form under which category of these 4? Is it an asset or liability or expense or income? Yesterday we discussed very clearly, building comes under asset because I own it and I have a right on it, I control it. I already discussed with you when will it become an asset, when it will become a liability, when it will become an expense, when it will become an income. Already we have discussed all these points. It is there in the previous video. Please go and watch that. Now, buildings comes under which category, ma? Assets. Definitely buildings comes under which category, friends? Assets. Now cash also comes under which category, ma? Obviously that is also our assets. Obviously the cash, the physical cash that you have with you is your asset. That's your property, right? That's your asset. Now building is an asset, cash is also an asset. Both are assets only. Fine, my dear friends, no problem. If you purchase building, what will happen? Your buildings balance will increase. Obviously your buildings balance will increase. If you increase, if asset increases, what you should do, ma? Debit you have to do. You have to do what? Debit. And finally, cash. Cash is also an asset, but here in this transaction, what are you doing? You are trying to pay. Because you are paying, your cash balance will decrease. Once you pay, your cash balance will decrease, obviously. So when asset decreases, what you should do, ma? Credit. Asset decreases, we have to credit, friends. So I will credit it. So it means building account will be debited, cash account will be credited, my dear friends. Got it? So this is first transaction that I want to discuss with you. Basics, very basics. Now, next we have a few more we will go through, friends. Okay, one by one, slowly we will go through more. Second transaction. Let me take you through. Taken bank loan. Taken bank loan of rupees 2 lakhs. Taken bank loan of rupees 2 lakhs. So I went to bank and applied, asked for the manager for a loan. We applied for it and manager has dispersed that loan. Loan is in our hand now. Okay, now friends, now observe this carefully and how which accounts will be affected, my dear friends. Obviously, because you are taking a loan, so an account called bank loan account will be affected. An account by name bank account will be affected, obviously. Now because it's a liability for us and that liability will increase, and I will take it through bank account. It means that money has directly come and deposited into my account, bank account. So bank balance will increase, obviously. Now tell me, my dear friends, when you take a bank loan, you have to repay or not? Yes, obviously you have to repay. Because you have to repay, it will become part of my liabilities. Yesterday also we discussed what is liability. We discussed in previous class. Now friends, so bank loan comes under what, ma? Liabilities. Now tell me, my dear friends, when you take a new loan, your liabilities will increase. Obviously the amount that you have to repay will increase. At any cost it will increase, correct, amma? So when liabilities increase, what you are supposed to do? Liabilities increase, so I have to credit it. Liabilities increase, I have to credit it. Similarly, bank account is a part of assets. Obviously my bank balance is my property, is my asset, correct? So because of this, when you have taken bank loan, money will come and get deposited into your account, correct, amma? When money comes and deposits into your account, your bank balance will increase. Obviously it will increase. When bank balance increases, friends, you have to debit. Asset increases, what you should do? Debit. So here bank loan account will be credited, bank account will be debited, my dear friends. Got it, everybody? Good. So that is the way you have to understand. So let me take you through few more transactions, friends. Okay, basic transactions we will see. Few more transactions. Let us see. Imagine I have taken, I have paid salaries. Imagine paid salaries of rupees 50,000. So what have I done? I have paid a salary of 50,000 rupees I have paid. Okay, Namma. Here which accounts will be affected, my dear friends? Obviously salaries account will be affected. Salaries account will be affected, correct? And also because you are paying, I assume that you are paying through cash. Okay, just an assumption. Now salaries will come under which category, my dear friends? Expenses. Salaries comes under expenses. Now when you pay salaries, your total expenses will increase. Obviously till date you have paid 1 lakh. Now you are paying 50,000 more. Total salaries that you have paid will become 1,50,000. Your total expenses will increase. Sir, when my total expenses increase, what should I do, sir? I have to debit. Obviously see the chart, my dear friends. When expenses increase, I have to debit, correct, ma'am? That's why salaries account, because my expense has increased, I will debit that. Got it, friends? Similarly, cash account, let us take. Now what is happening? Cash is a part of assets. When you pay, your cash balance will decrease, obviously, because you are paying, Nama, your cash balance will decrease. Now cash is a part of assets and asset is decreasing. When asset decreases, what you should do, ma? Credit, obviously. See here, assets decrease, credit. Assets decrease, credit. Got it, friends? So this is how you are supposed to take the journal entries. You have to recognize which account has to be debited and which account has to be credited. Only thing is, your common sense should work, my dear friends. How is it affected? Because of the transaction, is the balance increasing or decreasing? This particular aspect should come out of your common sense, friends. It requires some practice. Of course, every time we go through our textbook, we will practice few more aspects also, okay, so that we get a lot of practice coming up, okay namma. So anyways, we are even going to solve textbook questions also, textbook questions of journal entries and all. At that time you will understand in a much better manner, okay now friends. So 3 transactions we have seen. Now we will try to understand how do I actually write the journal entry. Recognizing debits and credits is fine, sir, but how do I actually write the journal entry? Very simple, ma. So how do I write my journal entry is, for journal entries, our elders, they used to keep a separate book, my dear friends. They used to keep a separate book, which we call it as journal proper. Journal proper or journal book, anything is fine, no problem. Journal proper or journal book, a separate book. And if you open the book, all the transactions happen, all the transactions which have taken place will be written in a chronological order. Chronological order means what? Day wise, date wise, correct ma? So for example, today is 6th of July 2020. So today's transaction all together one shot, and next 7th of July, 8th of July, 9th of July, in a date wise manner they used to write all the transactions in the form of a journal entry. Understanding, friends? Now already we wrote 3 journal entries, right? We discussed 3 journal entries. Those 3 journal entries, let me post it into, let me write as in the proper format, my dear friends. How does the format look like? Format looks this way. Format looks this way. Now, first of all, I will have first a date column. As I told you, every transaction must be accompanied by date, of course. And then I will be writing my particulars. It means the details of the transactions, which I call it as particulars. And then I used to have a small column to write the page numbers of the ledger book, which is called my ledger folio column. But of course, friends, I'm not going to discuss much about that now. Simply remember, as at this point of time, remember that ledger folio is nothing but the page number of the respective ledger. Page number of the respective ledger. Okay, now friends. Now, next I will have the debit amount column and then my credit amount column. So I usually have, if at all you open any journal book, journal proper, usually you will have all these kind of columns, my dear friends. First, date, particulars. Date is to write the date of the transaction, particulars to write the details of the transaction, and then ledger folio is to give the reference number of the ledger book, debit amount, credit amount. Usually I actually take these columns. Now imagine I will post my first transaction. What is my first transaction, my dear friends? Okay, first transaction is about what, ma? It is happening on 6th of July 2020. 6th of July 2020. Good. Now on this date, what actually is happening on 6th of July 2020? Yes. Now first transaction that we have discussed is purchased buildings. So I will write what did we discuss? Just a moment, friends. Sorry. Okay, so in our first transaction, what did we discuss, my dear friends? Buildings has to be debited, cash account has to be created. That is our first transaction that we have discussed today, correct, Amma? So let me put that now. Whatever has to be debited, first I will write that first. Whatever has to be debited, I will write it first. So my journal entry will be buildings account debit, buildings account debit. Okay, first I will write the debit. By how much amount, my dear friends? Amount is about 5 lakh rupees. Amount is about how much, ma? 5 lakh rupees. Buildings account debit 5 lakhs. Got it, sir. Now whatever has to be credited, I will write next. But while writing all the credit items, I will start with 2. Why 2, sir? Wait for 2 classes, friends. You will get to know when we start with the ledgers. Okay, so 2. In what 2, my dear friends? 2. Which account is getting credited? Cash account is getting credited. To cash account. Simple terms, I will write to cash account. So whatever has to be debited, I will write that account debit to that account debit to cash account. Some people will actually pronounce in this way, buildings account debtor to cash account, friends, but it is not a appropriate way to actually pronounce or to discuss, to tell about the journal entries, friends. Buildings account debit to cash account. Buildings account is getting debited, cash account is getting credited. Now I do not have the ledger folio number clearly, so cash amount I will write in the credit column because cash account is getting credited. Correct ma? Buildings account getting debited, cash account getting debited. If you observe, the debits and credit should be equal. Debits and credit should be equal, my dear friends. They should not be different. Okay, they should be together. Okay, good. Now friends, let us see what actually then after writing this, imagine I write it like this and leave it. Okay, you and me have learned journal entries now. Can understand, if at all I see buildings account debit, building is an asset, asset is getting debited, asset is getting debited means what? Asset value is increasing. Okay, cash account is an asset, a cash account is getting credited, cash account is getting credited means what? Cash value is decreasing. You and me will understand, but a normal layman, imagine our proprietor or partner, firm partner comes and sees this journal entry, he'll go mad, what happened to this guy? Correct ma? So now what we will do in this regard, we will try to give a narration on what actually happened in that particular transaction, so that any layman goes through that transaction will understand actually what has happened in that particular transaction. Got it, friends? Now for this purpose, what I will do, I will write a narration after the journal entry as, for example, being. Normally it's a practice among all the accountants to start the narration with being. There is no rule that you have to start with being, but it's a practice with all the accountants like that. Okay, being, what is happening in these transactions, friends? Buildings worth rupees 5 lakhs purchased under so and so registration number, etc., etc. You can actually provide additional details in case if you want. Got it, friends? So that if somebody comes, okay, being buildings worth of 5 lakhs purchased, oh, we purchased buildings, that's why we have written this particular journal entry. So people will get to know, once we write the narration, they will understand it much easier. Got it, friends? That's why always ensure that you are following this. Okay, so this, if at all you write all these things, friends, then I can say my journal entry, recording the journal entry has been completed. Recording the transaction in the form of a journal entry is completed. Got it, friends? Buildings account debit to cash 5 lakhs. Being buildings worth 5 lakhs purchased under so and so registration number, so and so dated, etc., etc. What are the details you want, you can write it. Understanding, friends? Similarly, I will write the second transaction also. What is the second transaction that I have got, my dear friends? What I have done, I have taken a bank loan, correct? When you have taken a bank loan is getting credited and bank account is getting debited. So that is the transaction that we have, and amounts to how much, 2 lakh rupees worth of amount, correct? So imagine the same day transaction has taken place on 6th of July 2020, the same day the transaction have taken place. Okay, in this regard, how do I write my journal entry, my dear friends? First item you have to write is debit item, correct? So debit item, so I will start with bank account debit, ledger folio number I don't know, amount goes to how much, 2 lakhs, and credit, whatever be the amount that I'm going to credit, I'll start with 2. Which account, my dear friends? Bank loan account. Bank loan account will be credited. I don't know the ledger folio number, and the amount is 2 lakhs. So narration, what will you do? Being loan from dash 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 bank. There is no bank like that, right? Okay, bank dash dash bank. Okay, dated so and so, dated so and so order. What are the additional details you want to give, you can provide over there, so that anyone sees that particular transaction will understand what actually has happened. Now friends, third transaction, we will post it together. Okay, so you also repeat along with me, friends. You repeat together with me, I will post. Okay, what is my third transaction, Third transaction is paid salaries 50,000. You have paid salary of 50,000. Salaries account has to be debited, cash account has to be credited. Correct, ma? So that is my third transaction. Let me get into the transaction, post it now. Come on, which date? The same date, for example, on 6th of 7, 2020, 6th of July 2020. What actually has to be debited, my dear friends? Salaries account debit to cash account. Salaries account debit to cash account. We are supposed to, we don't know ledger folio number for both, and amount comes to 50,000. Amount comes to 50,000 debit and 50,000 credit. Now narration in case if you want, being salaries for the month of July has been paid, has been paid. Got it, friends? So this is how I write my journal entry. So what all elements will be there in a journal entry, my dear friends? First of all, date should be there, debit item, credit item, debit amount, credit amount, and next narration. Okay, so 1 2 3 4 5 6 elements usually will be there. Okay, Nama, in your exam also, in case if there is a specific question in relation to journal entries, ensure that you are writing in this format only. Okay, na friends, date, debit item, credit item, amounts, and then narration. If you write in detail like this, the chances for getting better marks will be high. Okay, friends. So, and that's the format actually. Otherwise, imagine you do not have, imagine you don't have dates. Okay, simply they gave a transaction and you don't have dates. You also need not write dates in your exam because you are not aware of the dates. Okay, next, but debit item, credit item, journal folios also no need to write, because in exam they won't ask for all those things. Practically we have to write the journal folio number. Okay, debit item, credit item, both you will write, and narration also you will write. Narration, friends, it all depends whether if you have sufficient time to complete the question paper, the answer sheet. Yes, if you are able to complete the answer sheet on time, yes, you please write the complete narration. Otherwise, you can skip the narration, no problem actually. Okay, but I'm not saying you completely skip, but when there is no time, it's better to skip the narration and to go to the next journal entries. Got it, my dear friends? That is the way we write the journal entries. Got it, ma? Now let us go in detail of few more transactions, friends. We will get into some concepts as well. We will get into some transactions and we will learn. Okay, na ma? So first basic transactions I want to discuss now is very interesting, very important. Of course, this journal entries part only I will divide into 2-3 classes, friends, because we are going in much detail of it. Okay, now so what are we trying to cover here is, first of all, there is a concept, my dear friends. There is a concept in accounting, okay, called separate entity concept. Separate entity concept. So there is a separate concept called separate entity concept. Okay, so sir, why are we discussing here, sir? Actually, to make you understand few concepts and to journalize those concepts, I want to discuss all these things. Okay, now please observe very carefully, friends. Concept, separate entity concept we are going to discuss. What is that separate entity concept telling you? No, very simple, ma. Business is separate from its owner. Business is entirely separate from its owner. Sir, early morning every day owner only comes to the shop. He only opens the shutter. He only does the transactions. He will only receive the cash. He will only pay the cash. He will only take care of every bills. He will only close the shutter. He will only make the profits. He will only eat. Everything he only does, sir. But you are saying business is different from its owner. Yes. From whose perspective? From accounting perspective. As far as accounting is concerned, as far as we accountants are concerned, we should see them in a different way. It means accounting, business is separate, owner is a separate person. Understand? From accounting perspective, we have to see business in a separate perspective, owner from a separate perspective. Okay, now friends, both are two different people, and we are doing accounting for whom? We are doing accounting for business. We are doing accounting for whom? Business. We are doing accounting for whom? Business. Got it, friends? Now this business requires money to start. Correct, Amma? This business requires what? Money to start up, to set up the business, to do all the transactions and everything. We require money. Correct, Amma? Now, if this money is given by some bank, let us say, some bank has given this money to the bank. Okay, what we are calling it as? We are calling it as loan, and loan comes under liabilities. Loan comes under what, ma? Liabilities. Bank goes under business, okay, gives money to the business, and we are calling it as a loan, liability. Why? Because business is supposed to return that money back to the bank. Obviously, we are supposed to pay that money back to the bank, right? Otherwise, manager will come and sit at your home. So it is not possible. So otherwise, you will also become next to Vijay Mallya or somebody, right? Now, business has to pay that money back to the bank. Correct ma? We are calling it as a liability because bank is an outsider, external person. We are thinking that way. Business is different, bank is different. We cannot say bank and business are together. Namma. Bank is different from its business. Similarly, business requires money for which owner also gave some money. Owner also gave some money. Bank gave money, namma. Similarly, owner also gave some money. From accounting perspective, even owner is also outsider. Even owner is also outsider. So obviously, whatever be the money given by owner to the business should also be a liability. Should also be a liability. Understanding, friends? Liability for whom? For the business it is liability, friends, because that money whatever you are taking from owner, you have to give back. Who has to give? Business has to give that money back. We say business liability for the owner. We have to refund for the owner. But our own owner, namma, he is actually, from accounting perspective, they both are separate, we are saying. But our own owner, that's why we will not call whatever be the money that he is giving to us, we will not call it as a loan, but instead we will call it as capital. We will call it as what, my dear friends? Capital. So it means if owner gives money to the business, we are calling it as a capital, which comes under what, ma? Liabilities. So capital is a liability. For whom? Capital is a liability for the business, my dear friends. Business, because business is supposed to give that money back to the owner. From accounting perspective, both are two different aspects. They are not the same. They are not the same. Got it? And we are doing business, we are doing accounting for whom? We are doing accounting for business. It means we have to see everything from business perspective, friends. What is happening in the business? What is happening? You have to see from the viewpoint of business, you have to see. Got it? And not from the owner's point. Okay, namma? So in this case, if owner gives money to the business, we call it as capital. Imagine if business gives some money back to owner. Business gives money back to the owner, we call it as drawings. In simple terms, we call it as what, ma? Drawings. Got it? So drawings is nothing but reverse of capital. With capital, what will happen? Owner's money in the business will increase. With drawings, what will happen, ma? With drawings, owner's money in the business will decrease. Owner's money in the business will decrease. Are you able to understand, friends? That is how you have to understand the transactions. Just let me just check. Okay, fine, no problem. Fine. Now, let me just go through this now. Friends, business, if owner gives money to the business, we call it as capital. If business gives money back to the owner, we are calling it as drawings. Correct? Fantastic. Now, let us see the journal entries now in this regard. Okay, namma. Now, what is happening? My fourth transaction that I want to see is Mr. X. Always a standard example. There is one fellow, Mr. X. Okay. Introduced rupees 2 lakhs to start business. So for you to understand properly, I have elaboratedly writing, friends. So Mr. X introduced how much money, ma? 2 lakh rupees he has introduced in order to start his business. Got it, friends? Right. Now, what this now from our point of view, who are we? Accountants. From accountants point of view, you have to see from business point of view. So what is happening? Business got money from owner. Owner gave money. How much he gave, ma? 2 lakhs he gave. If owner gives money to the business, we call it as capital, and capital is a part of liabilities. Capital is a part of liabilities. Liabilities for whom, my dear friends? Liabilities for business. Okay, now let me just write the journal entry in this regard, my dear friends. Now, what is the journal entry? First of all, because money is introduced, your capital in the capital account will be affected. Obviously, capital for the business will become what, ma? Liability, because we are supposed to repay that money back to the owner. So capital has to be repaid. So obviously, when you get new capital, your total capital will increase. Obviously, capital will increase. When capital liabilities increase, what you should do, ma? Credit. Check the chart, my dear friends. What are you supposed to do here? Obviously, see that chart, my dear friends. When liabilities increase, we have to credit, my dear friends. So that's what I have done. Liabilities increase, I have to credit it. At the same time, that fellow brought 2 lakhs in the form of cash. So obviously, I have to, cash account will also be affected in the business. Now, cash account is a part of my assets. And because we got the cash balance will increase. Because cash balance increases, asset increases, debit. So capital account will be credited, cash account will be debited, my dear friends. Got it, friends? Good. Now, let me go through the next way. For example, fifth transaction. Owner withdrew, okay, rupees 10,000. How much he has taken, friends? 10,000 for household expenses. Owner withdrew. How much money he has taken, my dear friends? 10,000 rupees he has withdrawn. From where? From the business. Business money, owner took it back. Okay, Nama? And that too for whose expenses? His personal expenses. Friends, personal expense means what? His rent, provisions at home, etc. will be there. Are they business expenses? Is there anything to do with the business? Nothing, right? So obviously it is his personal expense. Because he has withdrawn, here in this transaction, what is happening, ma? Business is giving money back to the owner. I already discussed, if business gives money back to the owner, we call it as drawings. So obviously now drawings will increase. So drawings. Now actually, what is the nature of drawings? Or actually, some people say drawings is an asset, some people say drawings is an expenditure, some people say in different manner, friends. But what I strongly believe is drawings is a reverse of capital. So I will take liability, but my liability will decrease because of drawings. Whose liability, ma? Business liability will decrease because you have repaid some money. Because you have repaid 10,000 rupees, what will happen? Your liability will decrease. I will say liabilities decrease is your drawings. So liabilities decrease, what you should do, ma? Debit. Liabilities decrease, debit. Got it? At the similar time that fellow owner has taken cash from us, so obviously cash account will also be affected. Now cash is a part of assets, and assets will decrease because he has withdrawn. My cash balance will decrease. When cash balance decrease, what you should do, my dear friends? Credit. Assets decrease, credit. Correct, Amma? So what is the journal entry that I'm going to write now? Drawings account debit to cash. Drawings account debit to cash. It will be my journal entry, my dear friends. Got it? Drawings account debit to cash. Okay, now? So as of now, you understand what how do you have to treat with your capital. Correct, Amma? So let me take you through in depth of this capital now. A few more in depth we will go. Little bit more depth we will go. Okay, now friends. Now let me take a small example. Okay, small example wherein. Okay, so wherein what is happening in this transaction, you know, imagine Mr. X has taken a big premises for rent. Okay, big premise for rent. There is a main road here. Okay, there's a small curve right in between. Okay, so there is a main road. Okay, and because there's a main road, what he has done, the front portion of that particular building, he made it as a shop, my dear friends. He made it as a shop. Back of the building, he is residing. His house is there. Understanding, friends? So now, out of these two, which one is business? Obviously, this is my business. Correct, Amma? So I am doing accounting for business, my dear friends, and this is where I am now. Okay, now let us understand. Let us focus it properly, my dear friends. Imagine the total rent. Total rent is 10,000 rupees. Total rent is how much, ma? 10,000 rupees I am paying. The total rent I am paying is 10,000 rupees. Okay. Now, out of this 10,000 rupees, I will say in this way. Out of the total space, I will say 800 square feet he is using it for house, and 200 square feet he is using it for shop. 800 square feet he is using it for business. Oh, sorry, for house. Okay, and 200 square feet he is using it for shop. Okay, now friends, but rent, while paying rent, we pay rent all together, one shot we will pay. It is not for house separately, business separately, because building owner is same fellow. He will come and take money from us one shot. We will pay 10,000 rupees. Got it, friends? Now, because we have paid 10,000 rupees, can you say full 10,000 rupees is house rent? No, shop is also there. Now you have to see both are two different aspects. Business is different from its owner. House is owner's personal thing. Nothing to do with the business. Correct, Amma? So shop and business. So business and house, owner's personal thing. So are you paying rent of 10,000 rupees only for house? Or is it only for house? No. Is it only for business? No. Are you paying for both? Yes, you are paying both. In that case, what I should do, how much is for shop, how much is for household? I should be able to divide. I should be able to discriminate between both. How much is for shop and how much is for house. Okay, in that case I will divide that in 8:2 ratio. 800 to 200 square feet number, I'll divide that into 8:2 ratio. In that case, in this rent, my dear friends, I can say 8,000 rupees is for house and then 2,000 rupees is for shop. Obviously I just divided based on square feet. Okay, based on square feet, if at all I divide my rent, it is going to be 8,000 for house, 2,000 for shop. Okay now friends, so it means in this regard, how much is business rent expense ma? Business rent expense is going to be, business rent expense is going to be 2,000 rupees. Business rent expense is going to be 2,000 rupees. How much is house owner's house personal expense ma? Personal expense is how much ma? 8,000 rupees is owner house, that owner's personal expense. 8,000 is personal expenditure and business expenditure is only 2,000. You have to understand this point very carefully. Okay, Nama? So whenever you are clubbing these two, you have to separate them because business is separate from its owner. Got it? Now, let us go further, friends. How do we write the journal entry? While writing journal entry, I will take two cases. First case, if business pays full rent. First case is going to be what ma? If business pays full rent. How much is the rent, my dear friends? Rent amount is 10,000. Full 10,000 is paid out of business cash ma. Full 10,000 is paid out of business cash. In that case, what will be the journal entries? And then we will be discussing if owner pays full rent. Owner pays full rent. Owner pays full rent means what? Owner out of his pocket, his amount, not relating to business. Out of his amount, he is paying how much ma? Full 10,000 rupees is paying. In these two cases, how journal entries will work? Let me discuss with you. First case. What is my first case ma? If business pays full rent. If business pays full rent. Now we are doing accounting for whom ma? Business only we are doing accounting, correct? So in that case, observe this very, very, very carefully. If business pays the rent, what will be the journal entry, friends? We have to first which account will be affected, friends? Rent account will be affected. Rent account will be affected, obviously. Now, how much it will be affected ma? I will say 2,000 only, because how much is business expenditure in that? 2,000 only na? I will take only 2,000 as my expenditure. Okay, now rent account comes under expenses, and when you pay your rent, your total expenses will increase. If expenses increase, what you should do? Debit. Correct ma? What you should do? Debit. Rent expense increases, debit. Similarly, you have second one. Now you are paying ma. How much are you paying? So you are paying, because you are paying, cash account will also be affected. Whose cash? Business cash. Because who is paying it ma? Business is paying it. So obviously business cash will be affected. Correct ma? So business cash, how much are you paying? Full rent of 10,000 is being paid. It means cash account will be affected by 10,000 rupees. Now cash is a part of assets, and when you pay, your cash balance will decrease. Assets decrease, what you should do? Credit. Assets decrease, you have to credit. Sir, debit by 2000, credit by 8000, sir. Then what about remaining 8000, sir? That is nothing but business is paying owner's rent. Business is paying owner's rent. Amma, though you pay owner's rent, it is indirectly you giving the money to the owner. You giving money to the owner. So obviously, if you means what? Business. If business gives money to the owner, we call it as drawings. Correct. So how much is our drawings, ma'am? Drawings account. How much is my drawings, ma? 8000, because rent of the house is 8000. We assume that owner has withdrawn that money. Okay, nama? We assume that way. And obviously, business liability will decrease. Liability decrease. What should I do, my dear friends? Debit. Understand, friends? Debit. Oh my God. Here, if you see, I am getting 2 debits here and 1 credit I am getting here. 2 debits, 1 credit I am getting here. Sir, you said 2 accounts will be affected. No, I have never said that. I said minimum 2 accounts will be affected. I said not maximum 2 accounts, minimum 2. It means more than 2 also can be affected. In this example, what is happening, friends? We have more than 1 account which got affected in debits. What is that? More than 2 accounts got affected. Rent account is affected, cash account is affected, drawings account is affected. Now, how do we write the journal entry of this, sir? We write this in this way. First, we have to write all the debit items. What are all my debit items, my dear friends? I will say rent account debit. How much is my rent account debit, ma? 2000 rupees. Similarly, you have one more debit item. What is that, ma? Drawings. So drawings also you write first. Drawings account debit. How much is drawings account debit, friends? 8000 rupees my drawings. And now 2 debit items are over. Now you have to cash account. To cash account. How much is that, ma? 10,000 rupees is my cash account. If you observe, my dear friends, here you have more than 1 debit and 1 credit. Correct, amma? You call this kind of entries as compound entries. Compound journal entries. Compound journal entries. So what is meant by compound journal entry, my dear friends? If you have more than 1 debit or more than 1 credit. If you have more than 1 debit or more than 1 credit, if you have, obviously we call that as what, ma? Compound journal entry, and it will be made this way. Got it, friends? So this is the journal entry when owner, here business is paying full rent, both house rent also, business rent also together. So this is the journal entry, friends. Okay, now let us go to the second stage, second example. What is my second example, ma? If what is my second example? Owner pays full rent. Owner pays full rent. If owner pays full rent, so then what will be the journal entry, my dear friends? That's what we are going to discuss now. If owner pays full rent, so here what is happening, ma? If you observe, business is there, owner is there. Now owner, his share of rent 8000 he is paying, and our share of 2000 also he is paying. This 2000 actually is my rent. My rent means business rent. Business rent he is paying. Indirectly, I can say owner is giving money to the business. Understanding, friends? Instead of you paying, you means business, out of business money, instead of you paying, owner is paying out of his pocket. So obviously it is as good as owner is giving money to the business indirectly. So if owner gives money to the business, we are calling it as what, ma? Capital. Correct, ma? So which accounts will be affected over here? First of all, rent account will be affected. Why? Because it is my expenditure. It is business expenditure. So obviously rent account will be affected. Rent account is a part of what? Expenses. Once you pay expense, your expenses will, total of expenses will increase. If expense increase, you have to debit. Debit by how much amount, sir? Only business rent. We are not nowhere bothered about owner's personal thing. Owner 8000, what he has done it, whether he has paid for his house rent, whatever he pays, I'm not bothered about his expenses. If his expenses are paid out of business, then only I will consider. But here owner is paying his expenses, we are paying our expenses. So rent account expense will increase debit by 2000, And what is happening? Capital is coming in indirectly. Capital is coming in. It is as good as owner giving money to the business. So obviously capital is a part of what ma? Liabilities for the business. It is liabilities for the business, and liabilities will increase. You are getting new liability of 2000 rupees extra which you have to repay to the owner. So obviously when liabilities increase, what you should do ma? You have to credit it. You have to credit it. So credit by how much, my dear friends? 2000 rupees. So this is going to be my journal entry. If business rent is paid by owner, if business rent is paid by owner. Understanding, friends? So this is the journal entries that we'll be getting. So there are special cases where if at all the rent is being paid by owner. Okay now friends, now as a part of our journal entries, next in our discussion, friends, we have few more discussions to happen. That is, we will be discussing about trade transactions. Trade transactions means what? Buying and selling of goods. Buying and selling of goods. Buying and selling of goods. In this goods also, buying and selling of goods also, we will have two types. One is cash transactions, next one is credit transactions. So friends, tomorrow's our target is going to be this, friends. Tomorrow's target. Okay friends, next day after tomorrow's target is going to be, and of course all these are in relation to journal entries only. In relation to journal entries only. Okay, all these things in relation to journal entries only. Tomorrow we are going to see some trade transactions, friends, in which we are going to see cash transactions also, credit transactions also, and next we are going to see accrual systems. Accrual system of accounting. Okay, we are going to see what actually is accrual system, how journal entries will actually flow in accrual system. Very important for your entire career, friends. Being a chartered accountant, being a manager for accounting, for any accounting department in any company, friends, you are supposed to be expert in accrual system, friends. Otherwise you cannot grow as at a managerial level in any company, friends. Getting it? Especially in accounting field. So ensure that you are not missing tomorrow's class at any cost, because we are going to discuss accrual system in detail. So not tomorrow's and day after tomorrow's class. This is the schedule for tomorrow and day after tomorrow. Okay, so please ensure that you are revising this video, and please learn this. Please learn up to the mark, friends. Okay, ensure that you are being expert in journal entries at any cost. Okay, and we will ensure that all your CPT syllabus starting from very basics. If you have seen yesterday's and today's class, we are doing from very basics, friends, and we will go all the way too advanced, and we will cover every topic, friends, every topic till final accounts, company accounts, partnership accounts, special transactions, right, non-trading concerns. Everything will be covered for you in this series. Okay, I will ensure that the playlist of all these videos as a series, the entire playlist of all the videos class wise will be there in a playlist, friends. I will even share that playlist in the description. Ensure that you are watching all the videos and ensure success in your exams. All the very best, friends. Let us stop the class for today. We'll catch up tomorrow for journal entries, trade transactions. Thank you, friends.